Cost-benefit analysis. We all know that cost-benefit analysis is a term that refers to helping to appraise or assess the case for a project or proposal, which itself is a process known as project appraisal. In this lesson, we will discuss cost-benefit analysis, explain the steps involved in cost-benefit analysis, and explain the strength, limitation, and barriers to cost-benefit analysis. After going through this presentation, you should be able to explain the cost-benefit analysis, steps involved in cost-benefit analysis, principles of cost-benefit analysis, use of cost-benefit analysis, and strength and weakness of cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is typically used by governments to evaluate the desirability of a given intervention. The process involves monetary value of initial and ongoing expenses versus expected return. CBA has its origins in the water development projects of the US Army Corps of Engineers. The British economist Alfred Marshall conceived some of the formal concepts that are at the foundation of CBA. But the practical development of CBA came as a result of the impetus provided by the Federal Navigation Act of 1936. Cost-benefit analysis is used mainly to assess the monetary value of very large private and public sector projects. The practice of cost-benefit analysis differs between countries and between sectors within countries. Cost-benefit analysis is made up of three parts. First, a technical engineering part in which the context and technical characteristics of the project are identified. Second is a financial analysis that represents the starting point for the CBA and that leads the analysis from the point of view of the private investor. Third, an economic analysis, the true core of CBA, which, starting with the financial analysis that serves to identify all the income and expenditure items and the relative market prices, applies a series of corrections that allow us to pass from the point of view of the private investor to that of the public operator. Step 1 is identification of the project, technical and demand analysis. The technical analysis is carried out to ensure the feasibility of the projected work from a technical point of view. Step 2 is financial analysis. The financial analysis is the starting point for the subsequent economic analysis. It provides all the necessary data regarding input, output, the relative prices, and how they are distributed over time. Step 3 is correction for the fiscal effects. In the financial analysis carried out from the point of view of the private investor, some items are included, like, for example, taxes on profits that represent neither a social benefit nor a cost, but rather a transfer from one social group to another. Step 4 is calculation of the positive and negative externalities. In evaluating the convenience, the public operator also considers the externalities generated by the project. To assist in determining these impacts, tools such as environmental impact assessments and gender impact assessments can be conducted. Step 5 is from market prices to shadow prices. The last correction is made through the calculation of opportune conversion factors, which, multiplied by the market price, give the value of the shadow prices. In order to correct the market prices of inputs and outputs, the marginal cost for non-marketed goods such as land, local transport services are used. Step 6 is calculation of the economic return of the project. The economic internal rate of return is expected to be higher than the rate of financial return. The calculation of the economic indicators allows for the creation of a ranking of projects and helps in the selection of more than one alternative intervention. Some of the basic principles are: first, there must be a common unit of measurement. In order to reach a conclusion as to the desirability of a project, all aspects of the project, positive and negative, must be expressed in terms of a common unit. That is, there must be a bottom line. Second, CBA valuations should represent consumers' or producers' valuations as revealed by their actual behavior. The valuation of benefits and costs should reflect preferences revealed by choices which have been made. Third, benefits are usually measured by market choices. When consumers make purchases at market prices, they reveal that the things they buy are at least as beneficial to them as the money they relinquish. Fourth, gross benefits of an increase in consumption in an area under the demand curve. The increase in benefits resulting from an increase in consumption is the sum of the marginal benefit times each incremental increase in consumption. Fifth is analysis of a project should involve a with versus without comparison. The impact of a project is the difference between what the situations in the study area would be with and without the project. Sixth is double counting of benefits or costs must be avoided. Sometimes an impact of a project can be measured in two or more ways. To include both the increase in property values and the time saving and risk reduction would involve double counting. Seventh is decision criteria for projects. If the discounted present value of the benefits exceeds the discounted present value of the cost, then the project is worthwhile. If there are more than one mutually exclusive project that have positive net present value, then there has to be further analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is a prescriptive technique. It has an explicit normative basis and is performed for the purpose of informing policymakers about what they ought to do. It is based on welfare economics and requires all policy impacts to be stated in monetary terms. The main reason for doing cost-benefit analysis of road safety measures are to help develop policies that make the most efficient use of resources, that is, that produce the largest possible benefits for a given cost. Cost-benefit analysis seeks to identify the cheapest way of improving road safety. The accuracy of the outcome of a cost-benefit analysis depends on how accurately cost and benefit have been estimated. Inaccurate cost-benefit analysis may be argued to be a substantial risk in planning, because inaccuracies of the size documented are likely to lead to inefficient decisions. Another challenge to cost-benefit analysis comes from determining which costs should be included in an analysis. Strengths are it enables us to express an opinion on the economic social convenience of a project, enables to create rankings among projects and encourages the practice of identifying the economic benefits and costs, even if they are not immediately monetizable. Limitations are it does not take redistributive effects into consideration, not consider the effect on the economic return of non-monetizable benefits or cost, and sometimes uses discretional criteria for the monetization of costs and benefits for which no market exists. Fundamental barriers includes rejecting the principles of welfare economics, efficiency as a relevant criteria of desirability and the monetary valuation of risk reductions. Next, institutional barriers. It includes lack of consensus on relevant policy objectives, formulation of policy objectives inconsistent with cost-benefit analysis, priority given to policy objectives unsuitable for cost-benefit analysis, rigidity of reallocation mechanisms, and abundance of resources. Next, technical or methodological barriers. It includes lack of knowledge of relevant impacts, inadequate monetary valuation of relevant impacts, indivisibilities, and inadequate treatment of uncertainty. Next is barriers related to the implementation of cost-effective policy options. It includes lack of power, vested interest in road safety measures, lack of incentives to implement cost-effective solutions, and lack of marketing of efficient policies. It was found that institutional barriers are often important. The framework of policy making is such that solutions to problems are not developed primarily with the aid of a technical analysis, like a cost-benefit analysis, but by means of a process of negotiations. Now let us check if we've understood the various concepts discussed in this lesson clearly. Cost-benefit analysis is used mainly to assess the operational value of very large private and public sector projects. Right or wrong? Wrong. The monetary income and losses are recorded at the time they effectively occur. Right or wrong? Wrong. Cost-benefit analysis is a financial analysis that represents the starting point for the CBA that leads the analysis from the point of view of the private investor. Right or wrong? Right. Before we end, let us briefly revise what we have studied till so far. Cost-benefit analysis is a theoretical approach applied to every systematic quantitative evaluation of a public or private project. Economic analysis assesses goods or services at their use value or their opportunity cost for society. Financial analysis allows for the accurate forecasting of which resources will cover the expenses. A cost-benefit analysis finds, quantifies and adds all the positive factors. These are the benefits. Then it identifies, quantifies and subtracts all the negatives, the costs. The difference between the two indicates whether the planned action is advisable. The real trick to doing a cost-benefit analysis well is making sure you include all the costs and all the benefits and properly quantify them. Socio-economic costs and benefits are the opportunity costs or benefits for the economy as a whole. They may differ from private costs to the extent that effective prices differ from shadow prices. Cost-benefit analysis is a useful tool for evaluating and selecting projects, but it requires strictness and methodological coherence in its application.